but not making progress. Like something was literally invisible, but like keeping you stuck and holding you back. We're getting into it today. You're not lazy. You're not unqualified. Let's go. Hey, experts, welcome back. And if you're new here, I am Letitia, a lover of God, people, and progress. And listen, I am here to help you up level your life personally and professionally. I am your go to coach. For all things personal and professional growth. Around here, we believe in creating income and influence. We believe in pursuing passion, purpose, and profit, okay? And so, with a little fun along the way. All right, if any of that resonates with you, welcome home. Don't forget to subscribe so we can do this thing together, okay? All right, and so today we are getting into those sneaky roadblocks, the mental and emotional habits that keep you from really becoming all that God has designed and destined you to be. And what I need you to remember now and today is that God does not play about his children, okay? And while we can never really measure up to him in the way he does things, he has certainly equipped us and called us to really show up for ourselves. And this is why we are addressing these roadblocks because they are getting in the way, okay? They're getting in the way and sometimes in a very unrecognizable way. And so, listen, let me tell you really quick, what are these roadblocks? What are they? And so roadblocks are really just the mental, the emotional, the behavioral patterns that we use or that we thrive in, we employ, and they really just hold us back. All right. And really without you even recognizing it. And so some common examples of these, and so these you're gonna catch it when I start naming some. And so some common examples are self-sabotage, overthinking, the procrastination, the whole starting and the whole stopping thing. You know, planning to reach out to schools or pitch your services or to start the new business or to elevate your home or to organize the pantry. I don't know what it is. Whatever the case is, um, you're never doing what it is that you set out to do. And so you call it like, oh, I'm just busy. I have so many other things to do. The truth is, there is a level of fear of failure, a fear of rejection in all of that. And so it gets wrapped up in our to-do list. All right. And so at some point, a lot of us have been guilty of it. And if you speak with any entrepreneur, they will tell you at some point they have been guilty of the same thing. And I will raise my hand, guilty as charged. Okay. When we learn better, when we know better, we do better, right? And so we do have to learn. We have to put ourselves in places to understand and to learn so we can address and really just recognize those things that hold us back. And so, how about perfectionism? Sound familiar? All my people who want to, especially all my experts and high achievers, like we're good for that. Like we want to have every T crossed and every I dotted all the time, every day, coming and going. Believing that everything's got to be flawless before you even take action. And guess what? Because it never becomes perfect, what happens? You don't take action. So then you keep delaying your income because you're delaying your action. You see the triple effect of that? Because you're waiting for a specific time and place that will not ever come. Right. And I see this a lot, especially like, saying I'll speak when my speech is perfect. And, I got all my things together, then I'll start my speaking career. Spoiler alert. Again, perfect never shows up. It never comes. And guess what? You stay silent. And so I would have just part of my own personal story that I would have never started, this company if I waited for perfect. Okay. And then it would have ended before now if I was still looking for perfect. Okay. All right. And I know folks like to show up online, show up all over the place as if everything is all together all the time, every day, coming and going. I know, because they have to show up like experts. And listen, what I've learned is that I am an expert, even in my imperfectness. I am still an expert. I am still a strategist. I am still a specialist at the work that I do. Okay. And none of it's perfect, but guess what? I am who I am, right? And you are who you are. All right, because we're not going to look for perfect, because if we keep looking for it, guess what, we'll never show up in our greatness as we are. So listen, how about imposter syndrome? Feeling like, you're not good enough, even when you are clearly qualified. And see, this is what I'm talking about. Waiting for this moment, or this permission, or this validation that we're looking sometimes for it to come from somewhere. I'm not sure where we're looking for it to come from. Okay? Because what I do know is that greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. And like mine to be giving this information to some. You fill in the blank. You know those the inner dialogue that happens in your head, right? Because then my response is, who are you not to? And that shift changes everything. All right, so let's talk about why these roadblocks are so powerful. Oh my gosh. Their power is in their normalcy. Yeah. Roadblocks feel so normal because you've been doing it for so long. It's like being functionally dysfunctional. I don't even know if that's a thing. But like I just thought about, like, sometimes we know of, like, maybe someone who's on drugs, or who's an alcoholic, but they're functional in that. It doesn't mean that they're not an addict, or they're not an alcoholic. It just means that they can function in it, right? Like, they know how to do that. Folks show up to work like that. So that's what I was thinking about. So anyway, I, I cracked myself up. Anyway, so being functional in dysfunction, because those roadblocks become such a part of you that you don't even question it. So they show up in that inner dialogue. It becomes part of your daily habits. Like, you're moving in it all the time. And even the way you think about your success. Yeah, it's showing up every day. It's like trying to drive with the brakes on. Where are we going with that? Right? Okay, it's moving, but the journey is harder. It's slower, not moving at all. You have this unnecessary struggle, right? All right. So, if any of this resonates, listen, comment below. Let me know which of these you're like, that's me, or this is something that I've had a breakthrough in. I love a good breakthrough. Tell me about the breakthrough. Tell me if it's something that you're still working through. Tell me if it's something that you're recognizing here today that is a struggle. Because listen, we want to address that thing. We want to address it so you can move forward. Because that's why this channel is here. It's about moving forward. It's about progression. It's about leveling up. It's about doing the assignment, carrying out the assignment that you've been told to for some time now. I want this channel to be the channel where you say, I'm going to click the button. I'm going to push send. And I had a coach one time who said she had to push send and run away because it's scary. It doesn't matter how much money you're making. Some things can be very scary. It's part of the emotional package that we come with. It doesn't mean that we don't do things because we have this fear, because we're, afraid, or because we're nervous. Doesn't mean we don't do it. We just have to do it boldly. We have to do it courageously, because that's what courage is, right? All right, but anyway, let's keep going. Let me get off my soapbox. So anyway, now, let's talk about why these things are hard to recognize. Oh, catch this. Let's talk about why these things are hard to recognize. They disguise themselves in productivity. That's number one. They disguise themselves in productivity. Woo! I'm just busy, right? Heard that? Said that? Right. The reality is that busyness is often a shield for fear or doubt. So instead of you, again, pitching, instead of you sending that email, instead of you making an offer, instead of you partnering with this great opportunity that aligns, and you feel like you could, but you're making excuses why you can't, right? Uh-huh. You decide, let me get over here and organize my emails for the third time in the same week. Not because some things we have to do, right? But how many times in a week are you going to organize your inbox? Set the rules. You won't have to keep organizing. They'll just go where they're supposed to go. Okay. So, but say, oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it manually. Right. That's just busy, right? No productivity there whatsoever. Does any of that sound familiar? I know, right? All right. Number two, they are rooted in past experiences. So sometimes these roadblocks come from childhood messages that many of us receive, maybe like, don't take up space, be seen and not heard, get good grades, get the good job with the pension. Only success comes to scammers, only the folks who scam at people are successful, right? Okay, be perfect, don't fail at anything, keep going, never give up, all these things, right? All of these things, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, these things have been ingrained in us at some level or not. And sometimes they've been ingrained in us non-verbally, right? And so they stick with us. They have a way of sticking with us, like that oatmeal that sticks, it sticks, okay? Even when it no longer serves us, it's still hanging around. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And listen, I can talk about that because I've been there. Okay, trying to prove like who I was, my worth, and through hustle and bustle and all of that. Then I had to face that thing head on. Affirming who I was, understanding who I was, recognizing my identity in Christ, right? And in that moment, like I knew I was enough just as I was. It didn't mean that I was flawless. It didn't mean that I was perfect. It just meant that I was enough at that moment, at that time and space. And at that time and that space and that moment, that's where growth happened. That growth allowed me to start a business. It allowed me to expand my own thinking, right? About me and other people. And then all the transformation and expansion that I've seen along the way. And to think that I'm just getting started, right? I'm just getting started. I'm not new in business, but this is how much more that there is to come. Because see, I'm not settling for where this I'm in a good spot, but I'm not settling here, right? And we'll talk about, sometimes having those tough days too. Let's talk about it. But let's get to number 3. Roadblocks can feel like they are part of your makeup, like who you are. And so we start seeing things like, oh, that's just the way I am, right? Sound familiar? I know. You ever hear someone say, "Oh, I'm just naturally indecisive." Like, it just takes me a long time to make a decision on, what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do. It could be curtains, okay? It could be the throw pillows, all right? But the fear is just in the possibility of making the wrong choice. And working with clients, guess what? We name that fear, which then gives them the power to move forward. Because what we're not going to do is stay stuck there. And the truth of the matter is, you've been making decisions your entire life, and you've made some very big ones. Take inventory. I promise you, you make a list, you're going to say, oh, I make decisions. I am not indecisive. But see, those are the lies that we will tell ourselves, which creates these roadblocks in our lives that stop us from doing all of what we were designed and destined to do. Because we will tell ourselves, we will create an entire narrative that moves us absolutely nowhere. Right? That inner dialogue. All right. So I got to give you some tips to move forward because we got to move forward from here. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We are moving forward. So let me give you the first tip. I want you to first, I want you to pause and reflect. Pause and reflect. I want you to dedicate at least like 5 minutes a day. Do however long you can. And I'm saying start with 5 minutes. Let that be the minimum. But I want you to stretch that. Go as far as you can go. Maybe start with 5 and do increments, and like build it up as time goes on. But I want you to spend 5 minutes at least journaling and or in prayer. All right? Asking yourself, what's really driving me today? What's driving my actions? What's behind my intentions for today? Because you're going to focus on that day. So every task that you do that day, what's driving that? Why am I going to organize my inbox for the third time this week? And for the second time for that matter, because we shouldn't even get to the third time, but just right. All right. Then number two, I want you to get curious about your own patterns. I want you to really be very so self-aware that you start to recognize when you're stuck. And if you're stuck, I want you to ask yourself, what is holding me back? Why do I feel stuck here? Talk about it. All right. Is it fear? Is it perfectionism? Is it the overthinking? Naming it is going to be the first step to you overcoming it. Yeah. All right. And then lastly, I want you to invest in support. I am pro therapy. So if that's the level of support you feel like you need, go for it. Go for it. If you need coaching, go for it. If you need a mentor, go for it. Because sometimes, as quiet as it's kept, sometimes you need a guide, you need help to see the stuff that you cannot see. This is why we have rear view mirrors. This is why we have the side view mirrors. Why? Because they allow us to see stuff that we would not normally be able to see. Those side view mirrors help us with those blind spots. Yeah. So needing a guide to help you see a path forward, to help you see those missing gaps and start to fill them. Because it does you no good to just recognize them, but recognizing them so you can address them. That's the game changer. And so if you need any of the levels of support that we offer, whether it's coaching, whether it's our done for you services, maybe you're feeling like, you've been pressed to start speaking and training and you want to expand your services into the educational sector. If you need help with that, I need you to get connected below. We have resources for you, be it coaching, be it our done for you services and helping you to do that, be it our course that will help you to do it on your own terms and at your own pace. You can get through all of that because we're here. It's all about breakthrough. What is your breakthrough? What are you trying to, what is your next level? What are you trying to step into? What do you need to enhance? Because some of us don't need to start a new thing. Some of us need to really gain clarity and strength around the thing that we've already been given. Okay? All right. Listen, we here. We making it happen. All right? Making it happen. So listen, these roadblocks, they may be invisible, but they're not invincible. We can knock them down one at a time, row by row, okay? But in our next video, we're going to be talking about how these roadblocks are costing you financially, emotional, and relationally, and how to move forward, how to hurdle over them. And so if you're ready for income and influence, I want you to check out the links below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time.